Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with part 5 of my Born of the Gods complete set review, and today we're going to continue with the green cards of the set. Again, we're going to have a focus on the limited format, but we're going to try to also just give a general recap of everything. So let's start off with Nessian Wild's Ravager, who is okay. I think he's actually a decent bomb, although he would not be an early pick just because he's 6 for a 6/6, but 99% of the time when your opponent has enough stuff to block, they're going to give you your Tribute 6 when you need it to fight something, and when you need the 12/12 for damage, they're going to let you fight something, they're nothing creature, and you're going to be messed over. But 6 for a 6/6 is never bad, so this card will probably fill out a curve and be more of a turn 3, 4, 5 pick. Sky Reaping I don't like very much at all. It's sorcery speed. You have to be running Focus on Devotion to make it matter. This would be a late choice in the pack process, but it would be a decent sideboard card, so think about it if you're running green heavily. Fate Intervention is 3 green, so you must run this in a mono or 2-color deck with green, but at instant speed, dropping 2/3/3s is ridiculous, and given that 3 toughness is not unheard of in this format, it's actually pretty decent power. Farah's Band Raiders, I kind of like it. It's not awesome, but it's a fine card on a curve, and it does give you long-term advantage, which in limited can matter a lot. So I do think this would be not, again, top 3 picks, but it would be fairly early in the process. Unravel the Ether, I really like this card, even though it's technically a limited removal, just because it's instant speed, it's very reasonably costed, it's very splashable. Definitely a sideboard card. I would even consider main decking this in this format because we have so many enchantment creatures. It's pretty awesome. Raised by Wolves is another pretty good limited card, I think. It gives you 4 power right off the bat, and because it's a heroic enabler, and it gives +1/+1 potentially more than once, but even just 2/2 for 5. It's a pretty strong card. I do think this card is one to go after if you're running heavy green or green in something. Archetype of Endurance, I think, is just too expensive for what it is. It's kind of boring, and yes, it does have hexproof, and it gives other things hexproof, which is a form of evasion for limited. I do think this card would be a later pick, just because it's so expensive and awkward to play with because it's an enchantment. And, well, that actually, I don't know what that means, but it's expensive. Nessian Dremlock suffers similarly as Nessian Wild's Ravager, I think a little less so because 5 for a 6/6 is just great, it's cheaper. And if your opponent's going to give you this, then it's also one of the best removals in the format. So this card overall is just solid, great all around, and of course the art is amazing. Hero of Lana Tower is pretty decent 1-drop for Heroic. I think this would be, if you're running Heroic, this is a great card for your curve, and will matter late game if you throw something on her and then boom, 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 she gets bigger. Could matter a lot. I really like her. She's definitely one of the few 1-drops you want to pick up in limited. Nyxborn Wolf I think is awful because the bestow cost is too high, and a 3/1, come on, really? It's so weak. Hunter's Prowess is decent. I don't love that it's sorcery speed, but since you gain trample, then you're pretty much guaranteed to get a pretty good card draw from it. So this would be, I think, a limited bomb. It's probably going to be a later pick, though. Scourge of the Skullvale is very, very good card. It's easily splashable. It starts off very good stats, and the fact that you can sacrifice creatures to gain that many more 1/1 counters, this card is excellent for limited. I like it a lot. Power Negation just clears your deck out, and it's sorcery speed, so it's kind of awkward. I don't like it for limited. Grave Robber Spider is just a better giant spider, and so it's pretty good, in other words, and of course the 4 body is nothing to be joked about. Culling Mark I don't like very much. It's sorcery speed, and a target creature blocks this turn if able. It's too limited. This would be a sideboard card. Course of Crucifix clears out your deck, gives you life gain, and is very reasonably costed with great stats. I like it all around. I think it's a very solid pick, especially if you're running mono green or green in something else. Aspect of the Hydra is a great blowout card. It's going to be really good, but I wouldn't run this card unless you're running a serious focus on devotion because you'll just suffer for it. But even if you have enough devotion to make it, a giant growth, that's already pretty decent. Soulrise Centaur, 2 toughness is really bad, and it's limited to really green focus. Snake of the Golden Grove, 5 or 4/4 is not terrible, but again, you're going to suffer from the same. This is a bad tribute card, I think, because the 4 life gain is not great, and your opponent's regularly going to give you going to give you what you don't like. Setessan Starbreaker is very limited. Yes, we have a lot of auras in this set, but it's a 2/1 body. It's fairly weak. It's really just a destroy aura creature, and this will be a sideboard pick. Setessan Oathsworn, I like that it gets strong so quickly. I don't like that it's 3 mana for a 1/1, so it takes a while to get upgraded. Whereas Farah's Bandtropper, every single time it untaps, it gets more powerful. This is a very nice splashable common. I do think this card should be in your, first 5 to 7 picks. It's a very good round out the curve creature. I don't like Setessan Oathsworn that much. Satyr Wayfinder, it's just a land search card. It's okay. It goes into your hand. It's really a round out the curve card, and you're not going to want to go for it early. Noble Quarry, I think, is awful. The bestow cost is way too high, even with the lure effect, and by itself, it's very bleh. I'm not a fan. Mortal's Resolve is a combat trick, a pretty good one, in fact. It's somewhat better even than First Strike because Indestructible is more likely to last. I think it's a very, very good card. It's going to act like a form of removal, so you can consider it that and go for it. Mischief Mayhem, this is a heroic enabler, and if you're running heroic seriously, great, but this is not an early pick. Karametra's Favorite, I like a lot. The cantrip plus this ability and the heroic activation, this is a very solid card, easily splashable. You guys should definitely consider this one of your top, first 5 picks potentially. It really is, I think, that good. And Charging Badger is really boring, even with the bestow aspect of it. It's pretty bad, I think, overall. So those are a full review. That is a full review of the green cards of the set with the focus on limited, just general talks. Let me know what you guys think about this cards and the pre-release down below in the comment section. Tap the like button if you liked the video and you can't wait for the next part. I'm going to be doing artifacts, multicolor, planeswalkers, everything that's left in the next video, so stay tuned for that. And as always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.